Hello guys, and welcome to another 1v1 Age of Empires 2 game. This one is very, very special, and for good reason I have titled this The Legend of Jon Slow. Jon Slow is in the green here for this game. He's playing as the Persians, and he is up against Dark Noob HD, who's playing as the Saracens. The map is Arena, which Jon Slow is known for playing on, and you start with stone walls, so generally it keeps you more protected in the early game, and the games can go on quite long. Now, Jon Slow has been around the Arena game for over 10 years now, I believe. I don't know the exact amount of time, but I know he's been around longer than most people have. And he was formerly known as Terror. So if you ever go on any classic games I've casted on YouTube, I believe there's a Franks vs. Byzantines one, and it was from about 8 or 9 years ago, and Terror is actually Jon Slow. Now, last year, he changed his name to Jon Snow on Voobly. And then after a lot of people were joking with him because he is a slow player, he changed his name to Jon Slow. So obviously he has a sense of humor, and I love watching him play because he always does something different. I mean, sure, he plays Arena at a pretty high level, but the reason people like him is because of how wild he could be. And if I know anything about my YouTube audience, people like wild and they like different. So I'm here to supply. While we have the time, there's a few things in the video description here. So he featured in a video called Absolutely Brilliant Arena Strategy. At the time we saw a tower hop, and we might see something similar here. So if you haven't seen that, you could either pause this video and watch that one in its entirety before starting this, or you could just put that one on the list to catch up on later on. Again, that is linked below. Another thing that's linked below is a poll. I've had tons of people asking to see more of Fatslob. Fatslob is very active. He's still playing people. He's still triggering people with his Black Forest strategies. I've also had a lot of people on my Twitch stream asking for the Legend of Huang again. Huang is another pro player who isn't quite in the top 10, but he's in the top 100, and he has a very interesting strategy. So what I've done is I put a poll there, and you guys can vote on what episode 2 you'd like to see. I will get to them both at some point, but whatever you'd like to see next, whether that be the Legend of Fatslob episode 2 or the Legend of Huang episode 2, you can leave your response in the poll in the video description. So this game is one of many that I'm going to be casting as YouTube-only casts. Many of you who've been following my content for the past year or two know I went full-time. You probably know that I'm streaming on Twitch a lot as well. However, since going full-time, I put a lot of emphasis on streaming, and while that's good, I don't want YouTube content to no longer be special. Both because I know people can't always make my streams, but also because I want to grow the YouTube channel way past where it is right now. I've been hugely successful, but I think the best way to grow the YouTube is to make things specifically for YouTube. So that's what this is. We have Persians again for Jon Slow. We'll talk about the maps now a little bit. As I said, Arena gives you that time. And then we have Dark Noob HD, who I'll also give a small shout out to. He's really improved over the past year or so, and you can see his rating reflected on the overlay. Yeah, he's quite a good player. He's also very close to Jon Slow, and they tend to troll each other, which I think we're about to see here. Let's just look at the resource placements briefly inside these walls, or outside the walls, I guess. Dark Noob has a pretty good map. His main, his second, his third gold are all within his walls in pretty safe positions. He does not have any back stone, which could be complicated for him because Jon Slow likes to tower rush on Arena. And, you know, Dark Noob probably recognizing that he's going to go on stone and click up the Feudal Age, so he'll try and tower rush as well. He's going to stone on the front. He has a secondary stone here, so as I speed up the game, just keep in mind, if he loses access to these stones, he will not be able to build any castles easily or additional towers. So here he comes forward, and here comes Jon Slow. You know, it's just going to be messy, man. They don't know about this. They think they're going to be the one going for the sneaky strategy of tower rushing. They know that the walls nowadays only have 900 HP, and they want to batter their way through and build some towers. And there's the 11 from Dark Noob as they both encounter each other here. And in the green trunks, we have Jon Slow coming in with 20 wins, 11 losses in Arena Villager fights. Yeah, we have a boxing match here. And so far, Jon Slow has fallen behind because he's lost his scout. And he's sending more villagers forward after he saw Dark Noob send more villagers forward. And Dark Noob is like, well, shit, I thought I'd have the jump on the tower rush. And now I need to run back into my base. And they're both building a tower here. However, Jon Slow has gotten his up first. And I think Dark Noob will have to stonewall up quickly because that tower will be denied. This makes it pretty awkward for Dark Noob. Because again, his stones are in awkward locations. Both players don't have the strongest economies now. Their villagers are meant to collect resources. Instead, they are forward. But, you know, this tower for Dark Noob will hopefully keep Jon Slow out. Now, Jon Slow has played in a lot of games that were funny. This one definitely takes the cake. So, if you're in the habit of skipping through videos at times, as Dark Noob loses a villager and he won't get this tower up, wow. Yeah, if you're in the habit of skipping through videos, I definitely make the time to watch this one in its entirety because it's pretty wild. This is only the beginning. So I'm actually going to slow it down a little bit. I think I started at a faster speed than I should have. Dark Noob, luckily he's Saracen, so he just purchased a little bit of stone because he couldn't afford another one. And he's building this tower now. Jon Slow is in. Jon Slow knows he picked off a villager. He knows that he has more villagers building here as well. So he's probably feeling pretty confident about this. Dark Noob did start building his tower a bit earlier, so he will get his up. And will Jon Slow take any losses here? He could, actually. He's trying to rush this down. He loses one villager. And they both lose a villager. And, this is weird. This is weird. More villagers coming forward for Jon Slow now. So, again, these guys are very trolly players. And I assume now that Dark Noob will probably lose his tower and he'll have to purchase more stone to build another one. Like, this is a guy who's played Arena for over 10 years. At this point, he's like, screw the metagame. I just want to do something different and troll my friends. And so far, I think it's safe to say that this game has been extremely messy. Jon Slow, he has 5 villagers in this tower. He has 4 attacking Dark Noob's tower. And he has 2 more down here. So he has so many villagers forward. Half of his economy is forward. But the whole idea behind this push is just to deny resources from your opponent. And that's why it can be successful. It's really unfortunate for Dark Noob that he did open up that hole in his wall earlier. Had there been a gate there, maybe this would have played out differently. Because when he re-walled it, he could not finish. And so it took less time for Jon Slow to get in. And at the moment, Dark Noob really can't take any of his stones. So I'm gonna pause the game here for a second because we're about to see something, and there's some context to it. Again, I don't know. I expect this video to blow up, so I don't know how long you, as a viewer, has been watching Age of Empires 2. So I should explain exactly what this thing is. Jon Slow is Persians. This is not something I touched on too much. But one kind of interesting bonus that Persians have is that their town centers have 4,800 HP. It normally has 4,800 HP, trust me. He just happened to delete his, which is what I'm getting to. There's a strategy that is called the Persian douche. And that strategy is a troll strategy. It's not a strategy you normally see at this level. And it is a strategy that normally is only executed on open maps. And that strategy entails deleting your starting TC in Dark Age, saving up 275 wood and 100 stone to rebuild that town center, because you can only have one, and you rebuild that town center on top of your opponent's TC, or right next to it, and then you pretty much just garrison your villagers and win the TC war because you have twice the amount of HP than him. Now, this is a strategy you've seen on Arabia before. Again, in the video description, I have the Viper versus the Persian douche if you want to see 2 pro players do it and how Viper reacted to it. But this is an arena Persian douche, which is just insane because already deleting that town center makes you vulnerable because you're not creating villagers. You don't have an economy then. But this is an arena tower rush to Persian douche strategy. And I'll start playing the game again. I don't want you guys to have to wait any longer. Jon Slow has deleted his TC at home, and now he's trying to douche Dark Noob. So it's called the douche for a reason. It's a really weird strategy. It's a wild strategy. It's not something players are fond of seeing. Jon Slow has gone for it here, and already Dark Noob responds by garrisoning his town center, and he has a tower here as well. So I really don't think Jon Slow can get this up right now. You know, he's lost one villager and he'll lose more if he stays here. The TC is at 72% as he's microing his weak villagers away. He's done a great job with this. He loses another one. Like immediately he's fallen way behind because Dark Noob has more villagers and the economy is the base of every attack in Age of Empires 2. But you know what? He has stone for a tower. Dark Noob does not have stone for a tower right now. And Jon Slow is thinking about towering here, I bet. And surprise, surprise, that's what he goes for. Now, Dark Noob, like, at this point, he's got to be so frustrated, right? There's been towers on his base, there's been villager fights, and now there's a TC on his base. He's tried to gate up. That way, Jon Slow can't send villagers to finish this TC. But he's failed with that, as you saw a moment ago. He is building a counter tower now, but both towers will go up. And Dark Noob has some weak villagers alongside Jon Slow having weak villagers. Dark Noob loses one. He'll lose two, I think. Actually, no, he doesn't lose two. Oh, there we go. He loses two. And he's going to lose this tower. And not only this tower, but Jon Slow is doing a nice move and he's house walling around the tower. So when this tower does go down, there's no escape for Dark Noob's villagers. And more villagers are coming forward for Jon Slow. He sent more villagers forward to at the same time finish this TC. This is why, we haven't even seen the entire game yet. Again, this is going to be brilliant. This is why Jon Slow deserves a legend video. He's played at the high level for a long time, still has a sense of humor, still knows how to put the troll hat on every once in a while. These villagers are all trapped, so that's 5 dead villagers for Dark Noob now. And there's a TC on top of his face. This game is a gigantic mess. So sometimes people think I exaggerate a little bit with my YouTube titles. They think I exaggerate a little bit when I say that it's one of the funniest games or the best games I've seen. But already we're 19 minutes in. There's been 16 total deaths in an arena game. There's been tower rushes, there's been gate walls, there's been house walls, and there's been Persian douches. And now Dark Noob does not have access to his main gold. He doesn't have access to 2 of his stones. He still has these golds here, but that is it for him. That is it. There's a wolf in the back, but he can't eat that for food. Unfortunately, it will eat him for food. And he has tons of weak villagers for the pickings. So he really has a decision to make now. Because Dark Noob, he needs to have 100 stone and 275 wood to build the town center again. And, you know, I didn't notice this the first time I watched the recorded game. I sped through it to see what it was like. He only has 94 stone. So he would actually need... 149 gold to purchase the stone. And then he would need to have 275 wood in the bank, and that's just to rebuild the new TC. So, this is really tough for him. He was repairing his town center for a little while, but Jon Slow has 3,300 HP on his, and it's only 1,100 for Dark Noob. So he's kind of running out of options here. He could be GG. But you know what? He does see that Jon Slow is building this tower. He comes out here. He tries to stop Jon Slow from doing it. A mistake from Jon Slow is that he didn't have this next tower in range of his first one. So he's rebuilding it, and that will deny Dark Noob this gold. So Dark Noob just sold 100 wood, and he bought 100 stone. So he's actually done that for the tower. Which means that he's going to lose a town center soon. And he's not going to have the resources immediately to rebuild it, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, he's sold some more. He's purchased some more. Jon Slow hops out of his new TC. This is his economy at home. This is it. Just a few villagers. He jumps out of this TC to batter down this tower. And, of course, he has enough stone for an additional tower, which he's actually placing here to deny the gold. So I'm going to pause for a moment. There's a lot I want to focus on in this game because it's so brilliant. I just want to talk about arena mindset and what you should be aware of as a player, so maybe you can learn a little bit from this crazy game. Players always start with one main gold, which is 7 tiles. They start with 2 additional golds, which is 4 tiles. And then there are normally 2 neutrals, and those neutral golds are 3 tiles. So if Jon Slow were to scout this, and he's probably not going to, but if Jon Slow knew that these golds were here, then he could assume that there's no gold in the back of Dark Noob's base. Sometimes those neutrals can spawn back here. It's kind of a moot point, I guess, because Jon Slow doesn't see it, but that is something to keep in mind in these situations, and maybe he'll scout that later on. But regardless, even if there was another gold back there, I mean, it's amazing. This situation is amazing. I mean, sure, Jon Slow doesn't really have any eco. He doesn't have any food coming in to create villagers. He's working on the deer now. But he has denied all the stones and all the golds of his opponent, and it's not often you can see that this early in an arena game. He doesn't know that Dark Noob has just rebuilt a TC. But sure, Dark Noob has a TC, but he's had to abandon a lot of his farmers. He has a lot of idle time. This is not efficient whatsoever. And there's another tower going up now. And honestly, he should react to this. Yeah, he has. And he can shoot the villagers. Jon Slow, he has to rebuild this tower. That's not gonna work. He didn't know the TC was there. So I'll speed it up slightly, but when I first saw this game, and I only sped through it because I don't like to know exactly what happens every time when I cast games, I like for the viewers to hear the surprise. When I sped through this game, I was genuinely laughing my ass off. I had to hold my ass onto my body so I wouldn't laugh it off, because like, honestly, it was insane. It was insane. Like, and this is an insane strategy, even though it's the second time I've seen it, even though it's kind of spoiler to the fact that he's done this. Like, it's so creative, it's so wild, and I can't believe it's actually worked. Now Jon Slow, he either has to rebuild his TC back at home, which isn't an option, or he needs to just set up an economy here. So, you know, he places a lumber camp here. He's going to stone more so he could build more towers. The economy is much more efficient for Dark Noob. He just doesn't have access to the gold and stone. Just checking a few small things. 8 farmers for Dark Noob currently, and it is only 3 farmers for Jon Slow, and he has less villagers, so he still needs to push here in some way. And he's trying to do so with towers. And Dark Noob, he's built his own tower, again using the market to get that stone. And okay, I was gonna say he's unfortunate not to get a Vil pick there. But yeah, both players get their towers up, and I gotta say I'm impressed with how Dark Noob hasn't like complained. I'm impressed how he hasn't resigned, because I would consider at this point, and he's doing okay-ish. He's doing okay-ish. But it's really hard to guess where a game can go from here. Neither player will hit Castle Age anytime soon, I'm guessing. Jon Slow will continue with towers, we know that, but he can only progress so far. So we might have 10 to 15 minutes of game time where players are just repairing towers, building towers, and trying to build up an economy in some way. You know, if Dark Noob had any Civ but Saracens, he might have called the GG. One Saracen bonus is that there's not as much of a tax when you sell and buy resources, so the market bonus could be helping him. Jon Slow has been repairing this tower and re-garrisoning, so he should win this tower war. But Dark Noob is building yet another tower. So, I know a lot of you have probably played this game at least once, and if you were in Dark Noob's shoes, just tell me how you'd feel in the YouTube comments. This is what he sees. Towers on all of his golds. All of the resources he would want is out here. You know, I'm going to get ahead of the game here and say that the mini-map, this Fog of War, kind of looks like a duck? I don't know. YouTubers are much better than I am at guessing what the mini-map looks like. Maybe you can give me your thoughts on that too. But yeah, the point is Dark Noob hasn't given up yet, and there's a lot against him right now. But maybe he does have the knowledge that, hey, I've had more farmers working. Hey, I have the Saracen market bonus, and he would be right if guessing at the moment that he is the stronger economy. He just does not have a lot of space. 700 food for Dark Noob. He can still sell wood and food for gold. He only needs 200 gold to advance to the next stage. He will, at this rate, hit Castle Age much faster than Jon Slow. And if Dark Noob can get a siege workshop out and a few mangonels, there's not much that Jon Slow can do, as he can't build his own counter siege to stop those mangonels from taking down these towers. Now, that's like the third villager I've heard die, and I haven't seen it over the past 10 minutes. When there's this many towers up, that's bound to happen. I can only assume that Dark Noob is losing the villagers that he's repairing the towers with. But yeah, my bad, I haven't seen that exactly. But Dark Noob clicks up to Castle Age. So, 30 minutes in game time, we have well over a dozen towers. We've had a Persian douche. We've had Vil fights and Vil traps. And the towers continue for Jon Slow. However, Jon Slow, he doesn't have the market bonus. And despite having access to gold, he just hasn't had the food to be anywhere close to advancing to the Castle Age himself. So he really needs a response now. And normally, you don't have much of a response versus Castle Age units in this situation. If you go for a desperation move of scouts, you probably need to invest into a lot of defense upgrades on the scouts because you'll be running into tower fire and TC fire, right? Maybe once Dark Noob pushes these 3 towers back and he gets a little bit further away from the protection of his TC, scouts could pick off the mangonels. But still, the problem for Jon Slow is he's lacking food to go to Castle Age, so it's not ideal to make something like scouts to slow that down even further. Really what you need to do is you need to pray that your towers have done enough, that your towers will delay enough, and then you wait for Castle Age yourself. But as Jon Slow is researching the wheelbarrow upgrade, and he's 25% of the way with finishing that upgrade, Dark Noob, he's 75% of the way to Castle Age, and somehow, some way, he has 850 stone, I mean not stone, I can't read apparently. He has 900 wood, he has 700 food, and he has gold, and he can get more gold if he sells the excess wood. So, this is a pretty wild game. This is a pretty wild game. You know what I just realized? The mini-map is another one of those Arena Geodude mini-maps. Dave mentioned that about 2 years ago when we were casting that mini-map looked like a Geodude. And I think we got another one here. That's always a sign that we have a fantastic game. So that must be why Jon Slow has played in such an entertaining way, right? So, Jon Slow, he didn't know that his opponent was on the way to Castle Age. He might be surprised by this, and now he's researching scale barding armor, which means he's not going for knights because he won't be in Castle Age. He wants to build a stable and go for some scouts. He does see that his opponent is building barracks and a monastery and has built 2 siege workshops, so he knows what to expect. And it's just a delay game now. If both players would be in the same position 1 hour from now, Dark Noob would be dead because he wouldn't have access to any gold or any stone, and despite having that Saracen's bonus, the market isn't that great to rely on past an hour because the prices are still getting worse and worse for him. Dark Noob is running out of space for houses. He's running out of space for farms. And you know what's interesting? As he's selling resources here, Jon Slow is actually buying the same resources. So Jon Slow, according to the overlay, has just purchased about 300 wood. So as you buy resources, it actually makes the pricing better to sell. So inadvertently, Jon Slow is giving Dark Noob more gold potential when he sells wood. That's kind of That's another thing I wouldn't have picked up on when I sped through this game. So, Dark Noob's not messing around here, guys. And this is his point of view. He sees the stables, 2 stables in fact from Jon Slow. He has 4 Mangonels, and Dark Noob is making spears because he expects those scouts. Now the scouts not only have the defense upgrade, but they also have the attack upgrade. And Jon Slow is putting villagers in his towers, so the towers will fire more arrows, and he's sacrificing so much food to get these Mangonel pickoffs, and he gets 1. He gets 1. There's still 5 remaining. So the game's pretty damn close, and there's really no other option for Jon Slow now. Again, he can't go to Castle Age. If he waits for Castle Age, he'll lose all of his forward pressure here. So he has to make scouts. That's why he's doubled down on 2 stables. That's why he's getting more upgrades. He's getting bloodlines now for more HP. And I know his nickname is Jon Slow, but his micro has actually been decent here. Just distracting the Mangonels from firing for a little while is helpful. And he seems to be doing that a lot. See, he'll run in again, and Dark Noob pulls back, and then Jon Slow says, "Oh, just kidding, man. You better watch out because your spears will die to my towers." He's probably not saying that, but that's the idea. And, oh, he might find himself in a position to kill some Mangonels. There's 3 weak ones there, guys. And he goes back yet again. All right. That monk is still chasing down the scouts to go for conversions, and yeah, he runs into some arrows. Dark Noob. He's relying on the market. He has 7 Mangonels now. He has spears. He does have a blacksmith, so he could even go for some defense upgrades. I think going for scale mail or even pikemen. Just something to beef up the meat that you have in front of the Mangonels. That could be helpful. But you know what? Perhaps he was focusing on the wrong area entirely. Instead of going towards the TC of Jon Slow, he's now going towards these towers. And he'll take these down pretty quick, and then he can get some gold back, which has been the main concern for him this game. He's not a bad player, Dark Noob. Despite having Noob in the name, he's really not a bad player. He's adding the spears, he's repairing the Mangonels. He lost 1 there because he ran out of gold to repair, but he'll get some gold back here shortly, and he still has some wood to sell. So it's not pretty for him, but it's a pretty solid situation for him. Jon Slow, he's not that much closer to clicking up to castle because he's investing into so many scouts. So he still really needs an engagement. One of the funniest arena games you'll see here, guys. we're at 40 minutes, and the person with the lead is in Feudal Age in his opponent's base. But those towers go down. Dark Noob continues here, and I think he'll be successful at taking out another tower or 2. And there he goes to gold. So at some point, Jon Slow's going to need to force an engagement, and maybe this is it here. He thinks about it. He backs up, and Dark Noob kills a few of his own spearmen. He loses a Mangonel. He still has a lot here, but he's losing more spears to the towers, and there's only 4 spears remaining. Jon Slow, he lures a few more spearmen in here. He's had great micro. And if he's gonna go, I think he needs to go now. And the attack round from the Mangonels to try and pick up the scouts as they come in from Dark Noob. Will that be enough? I'll show you the Mangonel HP. 1 Mangonel goes down. Dark Noob is desperately trying to repair. He loses another Mangonel and another and another. Will he lose everything? He will lose his Mangonels. So that was thousands of food put into upgrades and creation of scouts. But Jon Slow has done it. And he's had a lot of stone for a while, so he's going to go for another tower. And Dark Noob needs to be careful. He needs to be really careful as he tries to rush this down. There still is that other tower there from Jon Slow. And he's going to garrison here, which means Dark Noob, who's probably tilting off the earth at this point. It is flat earth, so that's possible. He's losing villager after villager, spear after spear. Jon Slow gets the tower up. And this is the point in the game where I couldn't help but feel bad for Dark Noob. Because he's really done a decent job, you know? He actually had an eco advantage, he has the age advantage. And Jon Slow has just been so stubborn with his push. He's killing countless villagers, and Dark Noob is running back home with whatever villagers he has left, and he's gotta be disappointed, man. Because Jon Slow, still in Feudal Age, is being persistent with more towers. And the sad thing is for Dark Noob is that the towers that are being built in front of him are towers that are being built with his stone. He owned these lands at one point. Dark Noob's main stone is actually gone. Jon Slow has chewed through all of that and all of his stone in his base. Look how peaceful it is back in Jon Slow's main base. Hilarious. And he reclaims the gold, and Dark Noob, he has the same problem he had a moment ago. He doesn't have space, he does not have gold. And to rebuild all those Maganels is almost impossible for him now. It's so costly to do that. Currently, if he sells wood, he's only getting 23 gold for every 100 wood he sells. So he needs to sell 400 wood to get 100 gold. That is just not good enough to make 6 more Maganels. And if 6 more Maganels if 6 Maganels isn't going to do it, he might be out of options. And Jon Slow, he uses the market a little bit, as you can see. He's on his way to Castle Age, finally. In the Castle Age, he can do a lot now. His economy's decent. He could go for siege. He could go for a few knights. And that's not really something that Dark Noob has a response to right now. Funny enough, though, Dark Noob has built 3 town centers back here. And I find that hilarious, that he somehow found space for town centers. He's still trying to create villagers. Eventually, he just won't have house space. There's too many people. He'll have to start killing people off or putting a limit on the families. Like they do in China. You can only have 2 kids per family in Dark Noob's town. I don't know if that rule still exists. I think there was a rule at some point, so don't hold me to that. I know, especially now that I'm mentioning it again, there will be a couple people who will tell me what the rule currently is in China, so thank you guys. You guys are the real MVPs. So I mentioned the knights, I mentioned the Maganels, but Jon Slow could just build a castle. I mean, he has 400 gold in the bank, he has 300 stone in the bank. He could use all the excess gold he has to just purchase a castle, and surely if he places a castle here, it's game over. I don't see how Dark Noob can push that back. Dark Noob has opted for a battering ram this time around, which is very good against towers if it can get to the base of the tower. It's just extremely vulnerable when it gets to the base of the tower, so I don't know if that will work out all that well. But maybe if he loads the spears up into them, you know, this is a strategy that maybe didn't think of before. Putting the spears inside the battering rams means that when the scouts close in to kill the rams, these spears can hop out and say, "Surprise, I am a pointy boy, and I am here to poke your underbelly." Bodkin era for Jon Slow. You know, he's getting a university, so I guess that Persians do get guard tower. He's gonna build more towers and upgrade the towers. Oh man, poor Dark Noob. Despite everything I've said, Dark Noob, he still has a little bit of hope, I think. He has a stronger eco. He has 17 extra bills. And he's going after this tower, and we'll see how well this strategy works. Jon Slow hasn't gone for a castle. He's going for a few of his own battering rams, and he still needs to defend from this. Now that's, for a guy who's named Jon Slow, that's a pretty fast quick wall there. He's trying to wall the rams out. And yeah, he researches light cav, and he closes in the battering ram, and yeah, I still think it's going to be tough for Dark Noob. The ram, you know what? That wasn't that bad. He's really done a good job here. And will he take this tower out? I mean, he still needs to take out a dozen others, but hey, he's really paying attention here. I guess that's the plus side of having an economy like this. You don't need to look back at your economy much because it can't expand much further. So you can focus on the fights. I say that as Jon Slow does a ring around the rosy there, and the spears die, and yeah, the battering ram dies, and the tower stays up. So, geez, what a game. Jon Slow sends in his own ram. He loses the ram, but he'll pick off a few villagers. Again, I can't help but feel really bad for Dark Noob, and I'm so impressed with Jon Slow. Dark Noob is not a bad player. Sure, you could question some of his decisions in this game, but he's shown with the micro, he's shown with the decision making that he's actually quite a good player, right? And even if you don't believe that, you can look at the rating, and that reflects that he's a good player. So, the fact that this has worked still blows my mind. Now that we've seen it, it's easier, right? But if you would have told me that this was possible and that Jon Slow could have the lead in a game like this versus Dark Noob, I would have had the same response to you as I did my parents when they said that Santa Claus existed. Like, show me, and then I'll believe it. Because otherwise, that sounds like a fairy tale. And this is apparently not a fairy tale, so maybe I need to rethink the whole Santa Claus thing. Dark Noob! Look at the overlay. Look how much he sold here. Now, I believe some of that is bugged, but it's possible it wasn't. He sold probably all or most of the wood and food he had, and then he's purchased a castle. He's purchasing a castle when he's next to enemy battering rams. He's sending most of his economy out to build this. He's going to take losses. Jon Slow sees it. He's building a guard tower to try and stop this. Earlier, Dark Noob was building a tower to stop Jon Slow's TC, and now Jon Slow is building a tower to stop Dark Noob's castle. The castle's gonna go up. The castle will go up, and unlike the Mangonels, unlike the battering rams, I think the castle will work, assuming it stays up, to kill these towers and give Dark Noob access to gold. Sure, he's taking losses here, but still, because of the lack of speed for Jon Slow and the amount of focus that Jon Slow has put on this forward, Dark Noob has more villagers. Soon he'll have access to gold, and all he needs is one Mangonel behind his castle to ensure that his battering ram will not take his castle down. This is actually ridiculous, though. Jon Slow's tower can range the Mangonel if the Mangonel gets too close. So maybe for now, the castle's halfway down. Jon Slow will have an opportunity with his battering rams to take this out. But I really do think it's just a matter of time. His towers are getting focused down. So I think, sure, this Mangonel can be killed. But even if that's killed, Dark Noob needs a few repairs and another Mangonel, and his castle stays up. And that changes the entire game. So he's killed one tower, he'll kill another tower, and once this tower is dead, this battering ram will die. And then the siege workshop and the tower will be focused down, and Dark Noob will be able to breathe a little bit more than he was a while back. Jon Slow, he's on 2 town centers, but true to his name, he's not creating villagers out of both of them like most pro players would. And yeah, he's been a little bit slow to the action here. And he's losing control of the golds. I think Jon Slow possibly underestimated Dark Noob here. Because if he expected Dark Noob to be able to build a castle at some point, if he expected Dark Noob to be able to have so many gold units without access to gold, maybe he would have boomed up a little bit more. Maybe he would have built a castle himself, right? I doubt he expected Dark Noob to get to all of this, and now that Dark Noob has gotten here, he's probably thinking, well, geez, I don't really have an eco to do much to push this. I could actually be in trouble. So yet again, we're closing in on 1 hour game time. This is quite a close game. And despite how trolly this has been incredible, at least in my opinion. This has been an incredible game. Jon Slow, I hear mining camps going up. Wow, 3 mining camps, ultra efficiency here for Jon Slow on that gold. And he wants to build another tower because he wants to kill villagers from Dark Noob. Dark Noob has on the gold. Dark Noob, he has gold now, so he can always buy some stone. I think he had the stone in the bank anyway to build his own tower. And he's sending everything he can to stop this. He won't stop it, though. But he might be able to take it down. So it's been a messy game. It's been a messy game. When someone towers you and douches you on Arena, when you have an eco like this, it is bound to be messy. And honestly, I mean, I know it's not perfect, but I think this is why watching Jon Slow games for me is possibly more entertaining than Viper games and other pros, because he does make mistakes. It makes it funny. It makes it different every time. I guess you do watch certain types of pros for different reasons. You will watch other pros for their perfection and their speed, but not Jon Slow, man. Not Jon Slow. And Jon Slow is actually catching up in the vill count now after this tower. He's killed a ton of villagers. Dark Noob hasn't had the access to gold that he would want. Despite that, though, he still has 950 gold because of the sales. I'm running out of words to describe this game. And Jon Slow as well seems to be saving resources for the Imperial Age. Both players might be heading towards trebuchets from their castle. Jon Slow will, of course, need the castle first to build the treb, but he has potential for it. He has chewed through both of the stones that Dark Noob left for him, and now he's on the stone at home. So his only remaining stone will give him enough stone to build a castle, maybe. So he's still being very stubborn here. He's repairing this tower, and he's sending in a Maganel from this new siege workshop to kill the battering rams from Dark Noob, just to hold presence here. And look at the dead bodies on Dark Noob's gold. It is crazy, man. Like, these guys must be hearing about job opportunities, and when they show up, they can't be happy about it because they're getting shot by a competing company's towers. And here come the scouts from Dark Noob, and Jon Slow is trying to quick wall his tower off. And despite the misclicks, despite the lack of a complete wall, he'll get it up. He's still holding just a little bit of map presence here. And while I was ranting and raveling about job opportunities, Dark Noob, despite having a ton of listings that no one is taking on gold on Indeed.com, he's on his way to the Imperial Age first. He has a castle, and even though it's on fire, it can still make trebuchets. Jon Slow, he was later to Castle Age by a large margin. He is later to the Imperial Age by a decent margin. And still, he will build a castle now on the front, right beneath the castle from Dark Noob. And the game just gets better. The game just gets better. So surely at this point, whoever wins the treb war wins the game, right? I know that Dark Noob will get access to trebuchets earlier because he'll reach Imp, but his castle also will not be on full HP. But if Dark Noob kills Jon Slow's castle and keeps his up, he should be able to, in theory, treb down everything Jon Slow has here and take the gold back. The funny thing is, and I'm going to pause to check this, the gold that's been collected by Jon Slow has been only in his opponent's base. So whatever Dark Noob finds is not going to be what he originally left. Let's see how much gold is collected here. Yeah, so Jon Slow has taken 5,000 gold away from his opponent. Also, it's very telling just how strong the Saracen market bonus is, because the gold collected by Dark Noob, that was all from sales of the food and wood. So that wood difference has translated into gold for him. That's a wild statistic. I did not expect him to have that much more gold. So anyway, back to the game. It's hugely important for Dark Noob, as it has been for a while now, that he pushes his back. Oh, he's also building a university, and if he researches chemistry, even if he loses his castle, he could go for a few bombard cannons from his siege workshop, which would be preferred, I think, to trebuchets because they're maneuverable. just mind-boggling game here. Mind-boggling game. I know the thumbnail to the video only had the TCs, but it did not end there. Jon Slow has 105 kills. He has 59 deaths. He has a positive KD. Both players are on 81 villagers. Chemistry's on the way for both, and both players do get access to bombard cannons if they want that option. Chemistry will take some time to complete. Trebuchets, however, you can build immediately, and Dark Noob knows where this is going. He sold some more resources, he purchased some stone, and he's starting the repairs in his castle. And, you know, by the time that Jon Slow fires his first shot with his trebuchet, as he comes in for repairs now, as he maybe needs to buy some stone, Dark Noob will have the lead. Dark Noob has 4,000 HP on his castle. It is only 3,200 for Jon Slow. And Jon Slow has 25 villagers repairing this freaking castle. So he's slowly running out of stone. There's still stone there to mine, but he's not mining at a rate that's equal to his repair, so he'll need to buy. Dark Noob is also repairing with a lot of villagers. He is purchasing stone as we speak. He again does not really have access to gold, so he's selling wood, he's selling food, and the price of stone currently is, it's 178 gold to purchase just 100 stone. So he can do that. Jon Slow, he runs out of stone, he purchases more. It's 2 trebuchets for Dark Noob, now it's 3. It is only 2 for Jon Slow, he's on his way to 3. And this is like a photo finish. It's like this whole game has been a huge race to get to the finish line, which is a treb war inside Dark Noob's economy. But Dark Noob can win this. Maybe not the game, but he can take out this castle. The battering rams will be a huge help. And Jon Slow doesn't have the stone. Jon Slow loses his castle. Now Dark Noob is still kind of in a pickle. It's getting more and more difficult to repair his castle. He needs to kill Jon Slow's trebuchets. And he can't engage this with anything. He doesn't have space for any military buildings. He does have 1 bombard cannon here, but he needs to use something to kill the trebs. And the towers have decent range, so I do believe that this tower can range the bombard cannon if the bombard cannon gets in close enough to snipe the trebs. Let's see. I can tell you. No, actually. And he kills one of Jon Slow's trebs. Let's see again. Yes, okay, that tower can range the bombard cannon, but the bombard cannon can be repaired. It can be maneuvered. The light cav come in. Light cav won't have enough here, will they? No. Bombard cannons for Jon Slow, so he will have his own bombard cannons. He's using this bombard cannon to attack the castle. Again, the castle that Dark Noob cannot really afford to repair at the moment. And now, how's your micro, Jon Slow? Well, both players microing well. This is so crucial, and Jon Slow gets the pick off. Here's another bombard cannon here, which he needs to be careful with. But he will kill this castle, regardless of if he keeps his bombard cannons alive or not. And now Dark Noob, he doesn't really have anything to protect his trebs beyond the few towers and a TC. And, yeah, the trebuchets will probably get focused down. So it was so close, but because of the bombard cannons, Jon Slow should be able to kill the trebuchets at the very least. It's such a mess here. He has 30 idle villagers. The scouts are coming out, and it's possible he could lose his bombard cannon. But no, he repairs, and what a game. What a freaking game. He's somehow holding on to this. The guy is a legend. And these are just repair villagers now. They have a new task at work. There's hardly any gold left anyhow. And who needs economy when you're Jon Slow anyway? Just, you're in a good position. Just finish off Dark Noob. And again, I really love how Dark Noob has played this, because I would have called the GG a long time ago. I'd be too salty, I'd be too frustrated to continue, but because he's continued, this game has been outstanding for us. And, you know, he's still trying because he's researching scale barding. He wants to try for light calf, or camels, or knights, or something. And Jon Slow, he's going to continue to build towers. He's using his bombard cannons effectively, versus the Scorpion out, versus the enemy towers, and soon versus the enemy TCs. And Dark Noob has less space than he's ever had in this game. And the finishing touches on what is an outstanding game despite the troll. Jon Slow will douche him in the Imperial Age with a new TC. And this, yeah, I know it works, but this is mainly trolling. And Dark Noob calls the GG. He resigns, and Jon Slow gets the victory. You know, I actually forgot about the fact that he ended it with the TC. That is freaking perfect, man. As if Dark Noob wasn't already thinking about calling the GG. As if Dark Noob wasn't already frustrated. He then gets another TC on his face. Wow. What a game. What a game. Jon Slow, or Terror, is truly a legend. I'm so glad he still plays this game, and I'm so glad he plays with such an entertaining style. Sometimes you laugh at his mistakes. Other times you laugh at the strategies that he's able to pull off. This was his base back at home. You know, he saved these resources for later. These were just leftovers, right? This is like your pizza from Monday night in the fridge. Okay, that was going to work out for him later on. There's nothing like leftover gold or pizza. But most of his economy, most of this game was played out in one small little section of the map, and that was in Dark Noob's base. So again, big props to Dark Noob for playing it out as he did, because many people would have just called GG, and it wouldn't have been this entertaining. And also props to him for getting very close to coming back, because I honestly didn't expect him to have a chance. And then, thanks again, Jon Slow, for being such a legend and playing this in such a fashion. I truly have no words beyond that, man. You're an entertaining player, and I hope you continue to play for another 10 years. Alright, here's the achievements. There's the KD, if you didn't see that on the overlay. 137 units killed in this game. There's the economy stats as well. Dark Noob had more food. He had more wood. Way more wood, in fact. He had less stone, and he had way more gold. That is the Saracen market. The Saracen market wasn't enough to deal with Jon Slow's aggression. There's the technology stats, which normally is not something I'll look back on too much, but this is actually quite awesome. The feudal times were similar because of the tower rushes. Look at the Castle Age difference. Jon Slow had to fight off Dark Noob's Castle Age military for 14 game time minutes. That's not easy. And then after everything that happened in this game, after all the towers, all the differences in approaches, all the losses, the Imperial times were neck to neck, and we saw how it ended, obviously. So I'll leave you guys with a timeline there as I do my outro. As I said earlier, I've been focusing more on YouTube-only content recently. You'll see more of a change over the next few months with YouTube. Obviously, great games from community games that I stream, great games from expert matches that I stream, they'll still go to YouTube. But I definitely think there is an opportunity to do a couple episodes of instructional videos on a couple casts that are just for YouTube without the Twitch distractions. On the topic of Twitch, though, if you would like to stop by the live stream at some point, my schedule is always below the stream. It automatically goes to your time zone as well, so there's no time zone confusion. So anytime you go to twitch.tv/T90official, you can see the countdown and the day for the next stream. There's a lot of big tournaments coming up. I actually have a small, I guess I can't spoil it yet, but I have a small weekend event. Well, it's actually a huge weekend event in the works right now, and you guys will hear about that. But thank you guys for the love. We're closing in on 70,000 YouTube subscribers at this point. I never really expected to be here, and I'm just amazed at how many people are playing and watching this amazing game. I wouldn't be making the content if it wasn't for the support from people here, so thank you guys for doing it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for every like and comment you've given me over the past almost 3 years now. I truly enjoy every second of my work, so thank you. One final thing I'm going to sign off with, because I will be uploading this on August 20th of 2018. I'm going to be in North Carolina in 10 days. And I know that some of you might be in North Carolina. I'll be in Raleigh specifically, and I'll be having a meetup. So if you'd like to stop by at some point, have a drink, say hello, catch up with me, whether you're a Twitch or YouTube viewer, it doesn't matter. The info for that meetup is in the video description. So once again, guys, I'm T90 Official. Thank you guys for the love. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you soon.